you can definitely tell that this is a rebadged Toyota and it's not actually a Mazda car, because it's got a different DNA. I know that's cliche to say, but it really is. It feels different. There's not the sort of premium quality that we're used to from the Mazda, especially with the interior. I'm not saying the car is unreliable. Of course, we know Toyota is reliable, but it's just everything is different. And it's got a few quirks that you might not necessarily find in a Mazda. For example, I don't know, when you manually lock all the doors with this button over here on the doors, and then you try to get out and open the rear doors, you will suddenly realize that, oh, the car doesn't actually unlock all the doors when you open your driver's doors. And sorry, you're getting blinded by the sun now. Some of the buttons on the steering wheel don't really have a definitive feel to them when pressed, which is a little bit annoying. The menus, some of the menus of the settings on the instrument cluster are pretty much a guessing game, because everything is abbreviated. It's not actually explained, so you have to read the manual. The infotainment screen can be a little bit sluggish at times, especially when selecting radio stations and you're scrolling up and down, and it responds slowly, so you're missing your desired station. Things like that, smaller things mostly. But that's not saying that the car is not pleasant to drive. Because it's a smaller car, it's actually pretty well planted on the road. It feels a bit like a go-kart, but it's not uncomfortable. Surprisingly so. I've driven over some pretty bad roads, and yeah, it was pretty comfortable over those. So, last time I already tested the Mazda 2, and I was looking at fuel consumption and such. So now I've decided that instead of trying to be really economical and seeing how little you can consume, how little fuel you can consume, regarding fuel, by the way, that's a pet peeve of mine. When I want to fuel it up, I always look at the little icon of the fuel filler, or the fuel. And you know, the general rule is, if it's on the left, the fuel filler cap will be on the left. If it's on the right, it'll be on the right. Unless it has a little arrow next to it, which will then denote where the fuel filler cap is. If there is no arrow, then it's the side where it's on. But it's only been in Renault cars, and now this car, where it's actually fooled me, because I drive so many different cars, I don't remember where the fuel filler cap is. And on this one, the fuel icon is on the right, but the fuel filler cap is on the left. Why? Why is that so? It's funny. Shut up. Sorry. The traffic announcement started up. It's funny because my colleague doesn't like this car at all. But I'm kind of partial to these tiny cars, especially if they've got character. And this one is fun. This one is fun. It's comfortable. It's fun. It's not that thirsty. And I actually don't mind the CVT in this. I don't know why. I hate CVT otherwise, but in this I don't mind it. And even though the 3-cylinder engine up front does rumble sometimes a bit more when it needs to, it's not obnoxious. It really isn't. I thought I was going to be annoyed by it far more than I should be. But I'm not. So this whole hybrid thing is really nice. You can also select the EV mode, which will mean that the car will only drive on electric power when you're in a quiet neighborhood, of course. The only problem is, of course, the battery is very small, so it's not meant for longer drives on just EV mode, and it'll switch it off automatically. And also the fact that sometimes the battery seems to be at least 50%, but it doesn't let you turn on EV mode because it says the level of battery is too low. What? Why?